This week on the Tiger Lacrosse Report, we will discuss the Tigers' matchup against longtime Baltimore rival Johns Hopkins, and later we'll look ahead to the Tigers' next game against Loyola. Stick around, fans. The first episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report begins now. Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome to the Towson Sports Network studios for this season's first episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report, presented by Northwestern Mutual. I'm your host, Spiro Marikis. The Tigers opened the season at home in Johnny Unitas Stadium with a historic victory against the then-ranked number 5 Blue Jays of Johns Hopkins. The Tigers were down early 3-1 in the second quarter before closing the half on a 3-0 run, taking a halftime lead of 4-3. With all the details of that first half, here is the former All-American head coach of the Towson University Tigers and an alum of Johns Hopkins, Shawn Nadelen. Coach, congratulations on beating your alma mater for the first time. And I know for everyone at Towson, it's a huge thing because every year we hope, and this year it came true.
Yeah, thanks, Spiro. It was a great effort by our guys, and all the preparation that they put in, and my staff. I'm just thankful and appreciative that the guys get to see the result that they expected and wanted from it. And there's no doubt that Towson fans and Towson Lacrosse fans in particular couldn't have been more excited and more proud. The flooding of my text messages and emails that I got from people all over tuning in and then seeing it in the paper the next day or on the website, whatever, was awesome. So we couldn't have been more proud to give that to everybody, Towson University, and definitely excited for our team to earn that win.
Hopkins scores first, 1-0, then you guys tie it up, then they go ahead 3-1. What were your thoughts at that point as you looked at the end of the first quarter? Were you happy with the way things were going, even though the scoreboard wasn't going your way?
Happy, I don't know, happy is the word, but I wasn't concerned or really nervous. I know we had a lot of opportunities offensively. I think we put them on their heels with our offensive scheme and then the shots we were generating. So just knowing that if we could just rein that in a little bit more and then get those shots on cage and put a little bit more pressure on their goalie, we'd be in pretty good shape. Defensively, I wasn't too concerned. They got a couple goals from a dive in front of the cage and a couple of things like that we were prepared for. And our guys didn't seem too frazzled, or I didn't feel any negative energy from the bench or from the players on the field. The only thing I was a little concerned of is if, Hopkins been known for going on runs within games, and that kind of allows them to separate the gap. And the thing that I was really looking for is for our guys to answer in the way that we did with pumping in, 2 goals to make it 3-3, and then the one right before the end of the half on that great set play that Coach Ghilardi drew up. Couldn't have gave us more momentum and more confidence going into halftime, which we were really pumped about.
Well, let's see how that first half took place, and let's see what kind of a great play Coach Ghilardi drew up for the Tigers. Here's the first half highlights.
Spinning back, a close-range shot, and Towson strikes first. First goal of the 2015 season, and it belongs to number 22, Ryan Drenner. And now a chance for Hopkins to try to pull even. Pass into the center just in front of goal. Fighting for the ground ball, and Hopkins finds a way to answer in the scrum.
Coach mentions for freshmen, you're going to get, that's the best way for a freshman to get on the field.
Stanwyck falling to the ground, gets off the shot, fires it past Tyler White, and Johns Hopkins has their first lead of the evening. The Blue Jays go up 2-1.
Puts a lot of pressure on the defense to really have to shut out the Blue Jays offense.
So Johns Hopkins right back to work. Long-range shot fired, and there it is. Hopkins strikes again. Back-to-back goals, and it's now Ryan Brown, the junior who had 7 in the opener against UMBC, gets one here to make it 3-1 Johns Hopkins. Work it around to the right side. Lynch cutting in. Behind the cage, picked up by Drenner. Shot fired, and there it is. Towson back within one. Andrew Hodgson, the redshirt senior. First goal since 2013. That's got to feel good for him. So now a chance for the Tigers to pull even. And again, low shot. Did it go in? It did. Towson ties it up. Back-to-back shots, back-to-back goals, and the Towson offense is finding its footing here in the second quarter. Work it around behind the goal, now back up top. Tinney gets free. Shot knocked away by White. Ground ball picked up by Ostrander.
Look for the Tigers to run some sort of dodge from up top for a Mumbo pick coming off the crease to one of their stellar shooters in Hodgson, Sider.
Hodgson does it with 1 second left in the half. Andrew Hodgson gives Towson a 4-3 lead. Coming out of a timeout with only 12 seconds left on the clock, Hodgson with his second goal of the game. None bigger than that as Towson will take a lead into the break.
Coach, when you went into halftime, what was it that you told the team during that 10-minute break?
We weren't too worried about our game plan being in jeopardy, so we continued to stay true. We make sure we re-emphasize to the defense kind of our mentality within the zone and trying to make sure that we weren't overextending ourselves, challenging their shooter, Ryan Brown, and trying to suffocate him with that. Continuing to work hard on our clear. That was a place where we had fallen victim to Hopkins in the past, where they kind of increased their ride and tempo, and we made sure that we didn't allow that to happen. And the middies working hard in our clear to keep our feet moving, both with the ball and without the ball, to earn it. And I thought we did a sound job of that throughout the entire game. Told them that we were going to continue to go with Pat Conroy at the face-off X, being that I thought he gave us a shot in the arm after Alec fell behind, and then we had that procedure penalty. So the guys were, pumped up and excited about that, and I think that gave Pat the wherewithal to know where he was going to be in the second half and what we were expecting of him. And offensively, we knew we just needed to keep them moving, and keep them trying to rotate with us and attack our matchups and get shots on cage.
All right, when we come back, we'll take a look and see how the second half went for the Tigers' victory against the Blue Jays. The Tiger Lacrosse Report with head coach Shawn Nadelen will return right after these words.
With communication comes trust. At Northwestern Mutual, we start by getting to know you. Then together build a financial plan that takes advantage of life's opportunities.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Right, sign that. Yeah!
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Woo!
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
Welcome back to the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm Spiro Marikis. The Tigers closed out the first half with that 3-0 run to head into halftime up 4-3. They scored the first 2 goals in the third quarter to take a 6-3 lead before Hopkins closed the quarter with a goal of their own. Towson held on to stun the Blue Jays 7-5 here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Andrew Hodgson and Joe Sider led the way with 2 goals apiece. Goalkeeper Tyler White finished the game with 12 saves. And let's take a look at the highlights from that second half before Coach and I discuss it.
Out on the near side, Hodgson. Hodgson, great pass, shot fired, and a beautiful save by Eric Schneider. And again, great movement by Towson, everything right except the result.
And lost 13-9. So this Tiger team tested and playing pretty well so far. Joe Sider, his first goal of the season. Tigers go up 2 in the third quarter.
He led the team with 23 goals a year ago, and he gets on the board here. First 2-goal lead of the night for the Tigers. Behind the net, works off a little bit of a screen. And a turnaround look for the quick shot, and Tyler White out there against the far post with a save. Mike Lynch driving in, cuts back to his right, fires a shot! Mike Lynch goes top shelf, and now the Tigers double up on the Blue Jays. It is 6-3 with under 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Now, you're not going to beat the number 5 team in the nation without a little bit of good fortune, but Hopkins finds a way right before the quarter break. Ryan Brown. This is Drenner. Gets the pass off, shot fired, and it goes! Number 26, Joe Sider does it again. He's got his second of the game. Towson back up by 3, 7-4. This is a Blue Jay offense that scored 16 goals in the opener over UMBC, only 4 tonight. Make it 5 as Joel Tinney, the freshman, gets Johns Hopkins within 2. Conroy and the Tigers have won 3 in a row. Ball still loose. And the ground ball finally picked up by the Tigers after a lot of bouncing around. Towson comes away with it. Just a matter of running down the last 20 seconds on the clock. You can see the Towson bench jumping up and down. They know what this moment means for them, for this team, and for this program. Ryan Drenner hanging on to the ball behind the net as the final 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down goes Johns Hopkins. Towson wins it 7-5 here at United Stadium for the first time since April 27th, 1996. Towson beats Hopkins. An historic night here at United Stadium, and what an effort by these 2015 Towson Tigers to start 1-0 in memorable, historic fashion.
All right, we've seen the highlights, and Coach, for the final 50 minutes of the game, you held Hopkins to 2 goals. And I know that you know from being a head coach here, an assistant coach here, and a player that played against Towson, there have been many times where early third quarter, mid-third quarter, early fourth quarter, the Tigers have had the lead but haven't been able to hang on. Could you sense a difference in this team in that second half as opposed to those other Towson teams?
I could. I felt like we really, and this was even from the start of the game, I felt like we really had good control of the tempo of it and controlling possessions on the offensive end and being able to withstand their possessions on the defensive end. And moving into the third quarter and having that 4-3 advantage, I continued to feel that. I didn't feel like we were getting flustered. I think that helps having the veterans that we have on the offensive end continue to take the time that they needed to set up the plays and run well, make good decisions. When we got to that 6-3 lead, I kind of figured that next goal, could be a decisive factor, and they were able to get it. But I thought if we got it to 7-3, that kind of the floodgates could open for us. Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but they got that next goal right at the end of the third quarter. It was a little bit of a breakdown in our zone, and our guys, throughout that third quarter played really strong defense. Tyler White came up huge with a couple of nice saves off his head and a couple of doorstep stops, which was great. And I just saw the confidence continue to build in those guys, seeing that last goal in the third quarter was a little bit of not a fluke, but, we just made a mistake, and being able to get that back, under our hat was going to be important for us going into the fourth quarter. But I never really felt like we let the tempo go or let the let the pace of the game go out of our control. So I really felt like we did, our players and personnel did a great job managing the game from start to finish.
1996, that was the last time the Tigers beat the Blue Jays. That was back in the days when Towson and Hopkins would play when it was really spring and not winter. Coming up on the other side of this break, we will look ahead to the Tigers' next game against number 7 ranked Loyola. We'll be back with a Tiger Lacrosse report right after these words.
Brian Vickers, Aaron's sponsored driver. He doesn't just love racing, he lives it.
We got the paper! Woo!
His pit crew follows him everywhere. Oddly, so does his boss.
Red, sign that, sign that.
And his passion for racing is rivaled only by his passion for errands.
No credit needed. I'll take it.
Congrats.
Aaron's makes owning easy through lease ownership, so you can own the life you want.
You'll find it on the sidewalks of Little Italy and on the porches in Catonsville. You can see it when friends meet in Mount Vernon. It's pride. Pride in our city, pride in our people. That's why MedStar Health is building the most accessible healthcare system in the region to look after everyone from Lutherville to Locust Point. So no matter where you go, no matter who you are, you're never far from MedStar.
With communication comes trust. At Northwestern Mutual, we start by getting to know you, then together build a financial plan that takes advantage of life's opportunities.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
Welcome back to the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm Spiro Marikis. The Tigers have another tough matchup against the 7th-ranked Greyhounds of Loyola this Wednesday at Unitas Stadium at high noon. Last season, Loyola beat the Tigers 20-4 at the Ridley Athletic Complex, but the Tigers this season are on the prowl. Coach Nadelen is here to tell you all about how it's going to be a different story. But before we get to that, Andrew Hodgson was a missing piece of this team last year, someone that you were expecting to be a major force of your team. Many times when a player has to sit out, and Andrew had an injury, didn't play all year long, it takes him a while to get back into the flow. Andrew obviously didn't have that problem against Hopkins. How key is he to this team this year?
Andrew's been key to our team since he stepped foot on campus, and his maturity and the way he's done that throughout, his now in his 5th year here has been really impressive to see. He's always been a big IQ guy, big playmaking guy, wants to play the game. Pull him off the field in practice because he won't come off the field himself. So he's just been a huge catalyst. Anybody that watches the game from Hopkins sees that he was on the field the majority of the time, probably the one player that logged the most minutes. He plays wings, he plays offense, defense, has the ball in the stick at the end of the game, so has the legs to outrun 2 long sticks from Johns Hopkins and make the right play, drawing a foul. He's been very key with that, key within practice and in energy, and our guys have responded well, but he's a guy that just makes a lot of necessary plays and has done a great job developing his shot. So when he gets those opportunities to cash in on it, which is a big step forward from where he started. I think he started maybe shooting 13%, 11% as a freshman. So.
All right, Andrew's in the fold. He wasn't in the fold last year. I remember you and I, after that game at Loyola last season, you basically saying you'd like to take that tape and burn it. You going to bring up anything from that game last year to your players? Tell them, and there's no way to put it, Towson was embarrassed at Loyola last year.
Yeah, and I really haven't had to, to this point, our players actually, Greg Cuccinella brought it up in the pre-practice talk that the captains had with the team before, just after our stretch on the field. So, I'll bring it up if it's needed during practice this week, if I feel like the guys need a little bit of a reminder as far as, we're not really practicing the way we should be, and taking enough focus, for what this game deserves into practice. So I'll bring it up if it's needed. I think the guys that played in that game and were on the team last year remember it well enough and are using it as motivation for themselves. And I'm just looking at our guys, getting focused on this team, this Loyola team, and who we are and how we need to attack them.
Obviously, this Loyola team is very good. They played their first game against Virginia, took them to the wire, lost by 1. They will have a game against Penn State between now when we're recording and when the Tigers will play them next Wednesday. Tell us about Coach Toomey's team and what you expect from them.
They're another good team. They got some new faces in new places out there. On the defensive end, they got a new goalie. They lost Joe Fletcher, who was one of the best defensemen in the country last year. Terrific player and young man. So they got a couple new guys on the defensive end, but are very capable of filling that void and playing very well there. They're facing off at a great clip with a sophomore face-off guy that they have. And offensively, putting up 12 goals against Virginia in a tight game is impressive. So obviously they put 20 on us last year, and knowing that we have to really step up our game and not allow them to come even close to that this year is going to be a task. They return quite a few of their offensive players as well. So, being able to identify the returning personnel and the new personnel and how we need to adjust accordingly is obviously what we're going to spend the next few days focusing on. But they're a very capable team, and that's something we got to pay attention to.
You get the upset against Hopkins, and I know you probably don't like that word upset because you think your team is very, very good. But you win over the number 5 team in the country. Many would say, boy, it would be great to not have a tough opponent like Loyola coming up next. But in a way, this might be a good thing to keep your guys focused and not say, hey, we beat Hopkins, let's take a sigh of relief and move on. Now all of a sudden they look and it's like, uh-oh, Loyola, we got to keep moving at a very good pace.
Yeah, and that's how our schedule is set up. Every opponent's tough. You can't look at a Division I schedule out there and think that, that's a sure win, that's a sure win. That's just parity in Division I right now. Knowing the rivalry, knowing the rankings that Hopkins and Loyola have, and going down our schedule, obviously, you'd think you'd want a little bit of a breather after a tough game, a tough opponent in Hopkins, but that's not how it's going to be in the CAA. That's not how it's going to be in the NCAA tournament. That's not how we want it to be with our season. And we want to be battle tested and see how we stack up and see if our guys can perform against the, quote unquote, top teams, rank wise in the country. And that's how our schedule's set up, and we're excited for another opportunity. I think it allows our guys to, whether it was a win or a loss on Tuesday night against Hopkins, to regain their focus and know that we got another quality opponent we got to prepare for.
All right, Coach, we will come back and finish things up. We will be back with more of the Tiger Lacrosse Report, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual, right after this.
This is where the legends live, waiting for someone with better innovation. From the brand that reinvented the t-shirt comes the Under Armour Speedform Apollo. This is our rocket ship.
Virtual Wallet can help you be that person who's good with money. See what's free to spend, move money with a slide, save with a shake. Feel good about your decisions.
We did it, Charlie. AT&T's network now has the nation's strongest LTE signal.
Let's go tell everybody.
We're doing things like putting LTE radios at the top of our towers
to maximize power
and give you the strong signal you deserve.
That's awesome! Isn't it awesome?
So y'all optimized it?
We optimized it.
People of Earth,
oh boy.
America's strongest LTE signal is here!
With communication comes trust. At Northwestern Mutual, we start by getting to know you, then together build a financial plan that takes advantage of life's opportunities.
Welcome back to the Tiger Lacrosse Report. Coach, thanks for joining us, and good luck against the Greyhounds on Wednesday.
Thanks, Bill. Great to be back with you this year.
It sure is. As we have mentioned, the Tigers are back in home on Wednesday, the 18th, when they will take on 7th-ranked Loyola at noon at Johnny Unitas Stadium. You can purchase tickets at the box office, online, or at towsontigers.com, or call 1-855-TU-TIGER. Coverage starts at 11:45 with the pregame show hosted by myself and Hunter Lochte on towsontigers.com. Thanks for watching another episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report presented by Northwestern Mutual, and go Tigers.